Are you on the edge of burnout, feeling like the only option is to burn it all down? You do not have to blow up your life or quit your calling just to feel better. There is another way, and it starts with a reset. If you've ever stared at your calendar and felt sick to your stomach, this is for you. I've developed the process I'm going to give you today through my years of being a health coach. Most people think that it's either total collapse or total sacrifice. But is that really true? When we're staying stuck, the stuckness isn't just about being tired and feeling exhausted, even though those things are terrible too. It's also about loss of purpose and sometimes loss of identity and connection to yourself, to the people around you. What if you don't have to be the hero or the martyr? What if there is a third option, something that is gentle, sustainable, and that not enough people are talking about? I'm going to walk you through my 5 R's. But first, we have to understand why most people fail at change. I am someone who is a born starter. I am a manifesting generator. And when an idea comes, I'm like, let's go do this now. I am running out the door, ready to start. As an athlete, when we're doing drills, I am happy to be the first in line. I am not embarrassed by making mistakes. I'm also the person at the party who is the first to eat. I am the starter. And that also means sometimes I tend to be someone where it's easy to move on to the next thing and where it can be so tempting. I just want to burn this shit down because I just don't even know where to go. That overwhelming feeling of like, let's just burn it down and be done with it. And I'm going to start from scratch. Starting from scratch feels so appealing. But then if you're doing that all the time, what you're doing is you're always having to create something new. We don't want to always be creating something new. Rather, wouldn't it be better if we could focus on evolving what we already have? If you want to build a new life, is destroying everything you care about really the way to do it? Real change is about gentle, targeted shifts. So let's talk about my reset framework and the 5 R's. So the 5 R's are review, remove, restore, rebuild, and finally repeat. And I can't stress this enough. This only works when you do all 5. Oftentimes, people like to skip the repeat part of that. When I was a health coach, I would have people do a detox or a cleanse regularly. It was almost like an elimination diet. So, checking in with your body to see what are things that you might be sensitive to that maybe you aren't allergic to. So, it would be things like taking out gluten, taking out dairy, even maybe experimenting with taking out red meat. And we would do this for a short period of time and then slowly reintroduce those things back in. Oftentimes, I would suggest that people do this on a quarterly basis or a biannual basis. It was something that I would do regularly myself and with my clients. Here's the thing, most people just like to remove. And don't get me wrong, I love a good declutter. But if we're not reviewing what needs to be removed and also not making conscious decisions about restoring our rhythms, restoring our systems, restoring whatever needs to be restored, then you're missing things. And that's why you need the full system. It's not going to work if you're not using all of the pieces, or it's not going to work as well. So let's break down what each R actually means and why skipping one will sabotage your progress. Making micro shifts can be so valuable and important. And it's all about creating this identity of who you are and not just what you do. And so let's unpack this and briefly talk about what each R really means. And if you skip this part, the earlier steps won't work. As number one, review, take inventory. What is working and what isn't working? Make a list. I often have people make a list of what is working and what is not working, and set a timer to do this as well. Number two, remove. Gently let go of what is draining you. Not everything, just the main things. What is the main thing? Or what is one thing that you've been thinking about for a long time that you want to remove? And then restore. Add back what truly nourishes you. What is something that you're adding in that maybe you weren't doing before, or maybe you're adding more of that in? So, for the example of being a health coach, it was adding in more of the nourishing vegetables and maybe some leaner proteins that sat well with their body. Number 4 is rebuild, creating new rhythms with intention. So rebuilding and saying, is there something that I removed that maybe I want to add back in as I'm rebuilding, but I'm doing it in a way with more intention, and maybe I have more boundaries around it. Maybe I'm delegating, whatever that is, but that's that rebuild process. And then finally, repeat, making this a habit and not a one-off, making this part of your system. This is something I do every single quarter to make sure that I'm not burning out, to make sure I'm not overgiving, to make sure I'm not feeling exhausted all the time, and I'm not losing myself in the process. Every time I do a reset, whether it's with food, work, life, I learn that there's something I'd been missing. One time when I did a nutrition reset, I eliminated dairy. And what I realized is when I started slowly adding it back in, dairy didn't seem like a big issue for me, except for a few things. Milk didn't really sit well with me for whatever reason. The other thing that I noticed is when I would order a latte or some sort of coffee with milk in it, it actually upset my stomach. And when I had been ordering the same latte, but getting a milk alternative, it wasn't upsetting my stomach. So those are some of those nuanced things for my health that I know, okay, I don't have to completely eliminate dairy. I just maybe don't need to drink milk. And when I'm ordering a latte, get a milk alternative. And so these are some of those nuanced things for me, for my health, that really mattered that I wouldn't have noticed if I didn't do a reset. And so those things can be hidden in your life, in your business, when we're not doing a reset and not following each of the 5 R's. And that shift is huge. And that is something that, again, it makes a big difference in my energy, in my gut feeling better, something so simple that I was missing before doing the reset. So you don't have to quit on your mission. You just have to shift or change or transform what is not serving you anymore. It's not about burning everything down. It's about those micro adjustments that add up to big differences in the long run. But if gentle change isn't enough for you, I understand the urge for a dramatic change. Again, I am someone who I just want to burn things down. And my husband does like to call me a pyro because I do love a good fire pit and I love taking care of the fire. So I'm a big fan of fire. So burning things down, whether it's figuratively or literally, it can feel like a nice release. But that urge for dramatic change is oftentimes a cry for relief. But the drama is rarely sustainable. That like exciting idea of a huge fire pit, a big bonfire, it's short-lived and it's not sustainable. You don't need a crisis to get clarity. You need a system and the courage to keep showing up for yourself one small decision at a time. The shift from emotional flatline to clarity and peace doesn't require losing your mission, your purpose, or yourself. And by the way, if you are feeling burnt out and rest isn't enough for you, many of my clients are surprised to learn that they've really been only taught half the truth about burnout recovery. So if you click the video in this link, I'll explain the other half to you right now. Thank you so much for listening. If this message resonated with you and you maybe thought of someone that could benefit from this message, send it to them directly and let them know that you were thinking of them. And if you want to hear more videos like this, feel free to subscribe, like this video, and always remember that you are worth it.